Hello, Carrie Rhoades here. Welcome back to my YouTube channel. In today's video, I'm going to be showing you another creation using the My Favorite Things lip balm holders and dies. It's really fun because it has a Coca-Cola theme. So I'm going to be playing with Distress Oxide inks, some cool dies, and making a shaker card with a lip balm holder in it. So it's going to be lots of fun. Let's get started. Here's just a few of the things I'm going to be using on today's card. This is the Coffee First die set by FSJ and the Mini Greetings stamp set by FSJ. Then I have the Clear Bubble Sequin Mix and the Dahlia Dewdrops by Honeybee. I'm going to make a little background for my cola cup using Distress Oxide inks. I've got tea dye as my first color, and I'm blending this onto a piece of Bristol smooth cardstock and making it a little lighter at the top, kind of like maybe some ice melted in the cup. So that's at the top, and then I'm using ground espresso for the darkest color, and that'll come up from the bottom. And you can see I'm not ink blending the whole paper, just the part where the shaker cup is going to be. So this is like my soda inside of the glass. So I'm just going to add the dark color, and I'm trying to really get it dark at the bottom and kind of blend it up towards the top as I go. And then I always like to come back with my lightest color and blend it and make it a little bit softer of a transition. So that's what I'm doing here. And then I'm going to bring in my die that's going to be my shaker, just so I can make sure I kind of have the look that I want and the blendings where I want. And then I'm going to spritz over the top of that. Just pressing the spray nozzle or handle down about halfway gives you those bigger splatter drops. So I did that twice, and then blot it with a paper towel to pick up the excess water. And then you've got some of those kind of, I don't know, bubble-like look. This is the Graduated Dots background stamp by FSJ, and I'm going to stamp this on the card front, which is a Cranberry Bliss cardstock. I'm using Pomegranate Splash ink because it's a darker shade than the cranberry, so it's going to show up. It also has a little bit of a brownish tint to it, and I just liked that look for kind of this Coca-Cola themed card. I am going to go ahead and stamp it twice just to really intensify that background. And you can see I didn't put my paper all the way down in the corner so I could get good stamping edge to edge on that. Now I'm bringing in a piece of whipped cream cardstock, and without re-inking my background stamp, I'm stamping this background again on the white piece. And that's going to give me a more subtle background that I can use for the inside of my card. Now I'm going to die cut my windows. I've got the lip balm window and frame die set, and then my Coffee First die set. So I can go ahead and cut both of these out at the same time, just getting it lined up and centered and all of that, taping it in place. I'll run it through my die cut machine, and then we'll have these two windows here. So one will be the shaker, and one will be the place where we're going to put our lip balm. So now we need to turn this over, and we'll put some adhesive all around those openings, and we're going to cover it with a window sheet. I found a window sheet about 3.5 by 2.5 worked really good to cover up this cup. It's the larger of the two cups from the die set. I'm also going to line this window for my lip balm with the same adhesive. This is Easy Glide adhesive by FSJ. So there's my window sheet covering up the cup. And then here's the lip balm shaker windows, and that's what they're called by My Favorite Things. And I put this in here, and then I remembered I forgot a step. So I removed it, and then I'm going to bring in my background, and what I need to do is line that up and trace my lip balm window so I know where to cut the opening. So I'm laying that on the white piece and just tracing around that lip balm window. And then I can put my my rip strip there, and then I'm going to do the same thing on the card base. We're going to have two different openings on this card to get to that chapstick. So that's done. I can put the window piece back in, the holder for the lip balm, and just press that into the adhesive. Now I'm going to cut a straw. The straw is also from the Coffee First die set, and this paper is a leftover from Christmas. I just liked the striped look. So I'm going to put the stripes face down and run it through my Xyron sticker maker. And I want the straw to appear as though it's inside the cup. So with the adhesive on the front side of that straw, I can stick it to the back of my window sheet. And it looks like I have a straw inside my cup. And then I'll show you later what I'm going to do for the straw that would come up out of the cup. I'm taking my 3M foam tape and I'm going to put this just all over the background or the back of this card front to create my shaker. So you'll see me lining that cup. I want to get pretty close to the edge of the cup just so that my shaker window is small and I don't have to use a bunch of shaker pieces. So I'm creating a reservoir for that. And then I need to just fill in the rest of this card front so it's not saggy in spots, that it's going to be sturdy. So you'll see me just come in and fill all of this in, snipping little pieces. My 3M tape has been doubled up, so it's going to be plenty of room for my shaker bits to move around. So we've got all that in place, and then I will go ahead and put my Coca-Cola lip balm in there. Oh, I am using an anti-static powder tool so that my sequins, when I put them in, don't stick to the edge of that foam tape. So there's my Coca-Cola chapstick. I'm just going to turn it to make sure that it's showing how I want it to in the window. And then I'm bringing in those clear bubble sequin mix from Honeybee Stamps, and just a pinch is going to do for this small window. And I just liked these because it reminded me of the bubbles in soda when you pour it, and I thought it made for a really fun shaker element for this card. Now we need to come back to the card front before we stick it down, and I'm using the Sentiment Rip Strip Die-Namics set from My Favorite Things, and what it does, it just creates a strip that you can rip off, and then it'll have access to the lip balm that's underneath. Of course, you could use this die for a lot of other things. Now I'm just removing the release paper on the back of the foam tape, and then I can lay that background down onto my card front. And you'll see, oh, here I'm just going to press it down really well so the little shaker pieces don't escape. And then right here I had some excess, and I can just trim that right off with my scissors. And there we go. There's the front of our card. I'm going to bend back this tab so it's easier to get to, because remember, we're going to have a second window opening in our card base. And then I put a little anti-static powder on that showing piece of adhesive. I'm going to die cut the frame and then another element from the Coffee First die set to stamp on, a little label for my cup. And I'm stamping Smile from the mini greeting stamp set. Just kind of remembering the Have a Coke and a Smile ad, so I thought it went well. I'm going to put these both through my Xyron sticker maker to cover them with adhesive, and they kind of overlapped a little bit. I was worried, but I peeled them off and everything was good. So I was able to now stick that Smile piece right down onto that piece of acetate, and it stuck really well because the whole thing was covered with adhesive. And then the frame, I didn't have to go around and put tiny dots of glue. Since I was running the Smile piece through, I thought I might as well run the frame through as well, and it worked out really well. And now I have a second straw that I cut with that same paper, and I'm going to trim off a little piece that kind of lines up with the one that's already there so the stripes are consistent, and I'll just glue that down to the card front. So now I have a piece of straw that's sticking up out of my glass, and that worked out really well. Just kind of wiggle it and scoot it in place so that the angle is consistent with the straw in the cup. All right, let's move on to our card base. I need to cut an opening in that, so I'm bringing in that frame from the Lip Balm frame and window die set. This is the window piece, and I'm going to die cut it actually only on 3 sides, so do not cut through the top part. And you do that just by lining up the plates so that they don't go over that last side. And now I have just a flap that the recipient can lift up, and then they'll just pull back that tab and be able to access the chapstick. So here I thought, oh, this white edge might show, so I trimmed a little bit of that off before gluing this down to my card. And you want to make sure not put glue over that rip strip, so I put some above and below it. And then I can glue that down so I've got a nice border on all 4 sides of my card front. And press that in place. And then we want to bring in that background that we made that's got the more subtle dots on it. I'm going to stamp that with a stamp set from My Favorite Things called Sending Smooches. It's made to go with all your lip balm creations. This says, "Read my lips, you're the best." I know there's quite the battle on whether Coca-Cola or Pepsi-Cola is the best, so I thought this was a fun sentiment to use for the inside of my card. Then I can mount this on the inside of my hazelnut blend card, and then I've got a little bit lighter card base to write on, and it's got some fun little dots on it. You can see there, lift the flap and then pull back the rip strip and the chapstick will come out. So let's add a few little embellishments there. I've got another fun embellishment from Honeybee Stamps. They're the Dahlia Dewdrops, and they have some brown ones in there, and I thought they kind of look like, you know, Coca-Cola, so it would be fun to put a few on the outside. I'm using my jewel picker there to pick them up and stick them down onto some clear adhesive. This is actually Journey Glaze in a baby size bottle, so it dries crystal clear, and I thought that would be a good adhesive for this particular embellishment. So I put 5 on there and kind of just made them go randomly around the glass. And there we have it. That is the completed shaker card and lip balm holder. Isn't it cute? I thank you guys so much for coming over and watching this video, visiting my YouTube channel. If you're new, feel free to subscribe. And if you'd like to see my future videos, go ahead and ring the bell and you'll know every time I upload a new video. You can find everything I used in the comments below. Happy stamping! Bye-bye!